tree got it back yet. Lobsters and said, I told you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnet, the review, the channel, the review.
Yo!
I am here. Yeah, we're taking this shit to the next level. Over 100 subscribers. It's me being happy.
No. But before we do that, what the fuck was this?
This is me like doing the imaginary turntables of.
Ow! God damn it! All right, fine. Let's just move on.
We are here. These videos are like 10 times better because now we're gonna have like this fucking bitchin' flaming lobster magnet logo over every single one. Branding. Okay, but I digress. We are here to talk about whatchamacallit, Promised Neverland, chapter 43. We were talking about this chapter, how we're like a little bit nervous that it might like descend upon, into typical shonenness. That didn't quite happen, but there was a huge red flag that we're going to get to that we're a little bit concerned about. But we finally get to see the demons interact with the kids, and now we learn that the smart demons are very polite and speak with British accents, maybe.
Do you think they speak with British accents?
I don't know. I just... I don't remember the last time I ever heard an anime character call anyone a knave before. I mean,
he did say knave.
Issue, but I mean, I'm hoping the people who did the scanlations were good enough that they picked something that was like relatively appropriate. So they might be speaking in like extra formal Japanese, which is kind of my hope.
That would be like a question to the translator. If it's like actually supposed to be like, super British knight things, or if it's actually supposed to be like, some sort of formal version of Japanese, and that's how they translated it. I'm for sure like the official Viz translation would probably have something more specific. But this is really interesting. We finally get to see the kids interact, and it was like a pretty big chapter with fucking Ray. I loved how the demon like identifies him by the number he's got tattooed on his neck.
Yeah, as the premium quality one.
Premium quality we must get. And and we're getting more confirmations of the demon hierarchy, and apparently the demon dogs can talk too. I thought they were just gonna be like dumb.
Man, I really want to see a demon giraffe talk now. That is one of my new goals, along with watch a toddler be mauled in the series.
Well,
possibly by like a giraffe talking about how delicious they are. I'm really cool with that.
How much did the demon dogs talk though? I forgot.
There's like a panel or two where it says like, I can smell. There's no scent of human on this beast's breath. It has not eaten any of the goods.
I wonder if it's like it's not quite as sentient as the other ones, the ones that stand upright. It's just sort of like a more dumbed down version of the.
It's probably dumb. It's probably dumbed down. I could definitely say that's for sure. And fucking Ray taking one for the team. He's leading all those fucking demons away. This shit's not looking good.
Yeah, that is not good.
I did enjoy the scene where he just like confronts the demon. It's like, come with us, little child. Let's go home. Didn't even like try and like pretend about it. It's sort of like you just want to go home. This is what's going to happen. There's no negotiation. And Ray tries to stand up to it like a motherfucking boss.
I'm just a little baffled about why the demon thought this would work. I mean, there has to have been a really obvious reason for the jailbreak, and considering how idyllic the setting is, the obvious reason for the jailbreak is, oh yeah, they eat people. So like no negotiation, no like, we can make you one of our scientists if you turn your friends in, or I don't know. It's like maybe we won't eat you. Maybe we can like make a special program since you were smart enough to literally lead an entire group of people this far. Maybe we can make a father position or something. Nope. Just like get your ass back to the farm. We need you to report to the slaughtering house at like 3 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing, but god damn it, you fucking bacon, get your ass back there.
It's kind of a great little scene though, because like he really does he thinks very little of the kids, as you can see from that interaction. It's just like, oh, they're probably stupid enough to think like, oh, this outside world's too dangerous. Let's go home to the comfort of your little nest that you're going to be slaughtered in.
Yeah, well, you could say that like the demon also has like a lot going in his favor. He's got a fucking giant demonic sacrificing sword. He's got like demon dogs under his command. Like Reyes does not have anything going for him.
No, he really doesn't.
Mm.
Which is why I'm curious, like, out of all of the characters, yeah, I kind of hope they don't kill Rey. I was just kind of hoping they would maul some of the smaller children, but hey, I guess at this point I'll take what I can get.
Which also like ties into the other big revelation of this chapter. Like you were saying it felt too easy, and apparently slicing your ear off as an 11-year-old child isn't easy, as poor Emma is suffering from tetanus.
Oh yeah, I did like that. You think she's suffering from tetanus?
Generic infection.
Or loss of blood. Bad shit is going down. She could have an infection. Yeah, she could have tetanus from slicing her ear off. She's not a trained medical profession. William Minerva did not include ear slicing in his, fucking little handy book. So,
I'm surprised about, now that I think about it.
Yeah, that actually kind of would make sense that, like, the William Minerva would have a code of how to get the trackers out.
Like how to cauterize your ear.
Or something like that, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. You imagine, like, a bunch of kids with, like, half-burned faces, like, in this manga. That would be, like, so, like, wonderfully horrifying for a series like this.
Yeah, maybe the outside world is like fucking Mad Max all over the goddamn place. Like people with like everybody's missing a goddamn ear, and like as soon as you get outside, everyone's dressed in fetish gear and carrying like makeshift weapons.
Well, that brings us to the biggest question, and probably the hugest warning flag we've had in this series thus far of critical crisis, and that is the fucking elf leaf child of the forest. Where's this gonna go?
Why are you so worried about that? I thought that was gonna be the most exciting thing that's happened.
I mean, you're right, Greg. On one hand, it is really exciting because it's like new iconography, and the series is like not defined enough that we can have it. But I don't know, maybe it's just the sort of like leaf flower child that's like kind of like makes you think of like sprightly wood elf, and
Yeah.
You think sprightly wood elf is what it reminds you of?
It looks like she's wrapped in leaves, and I swear to God, if she has goddamn pointed ears or any kind of magic, I will be so fucking pissed. Like, the best I can hope is maybe she's, like, another escaped child that has managed to find a way to live in the woods, because there's enough weird shit. Like, I don't know, maybe it's, like, some kind of dead leaf monster that she killed or something. Who fucking knows? But I don't goddamn know. But I'm just sitting there going, like, oh, God, this is the most generic anime thing I've seen so far. And that, as per usual, that kind of weirds me out.
Well, how else is she going to make clothes like out in the woods like that? Like, there must be big leaves to make clothes, right?
I don't fucking know, dude. I like I said, like there could be lots of other explanations, but I keep watching, or rather reading, this series with a half an eye to, all right, when are you going to screw it up? And when is this magical elf thing with wearing leaves going to start, like, pulling out goddamn, like, chakra-fueled magic powers or wielding a magic stick around or some goddamn thing?
Well, there was, like, I don't know if either of you got far enough in, like, the Game of Thrones HBO series. Did you ever see the scene where the children of the forest are introduced?
No.
Don't think so. Which ones are those?
They're like basically the fucking equivalent of elves in the Fire and Ice universe.
Yeah, they're basically like weird, creepy.
You don't mean the
like,
Cranok men, right?
Elves.
The what?
Not the Cranok men?
No, they're different than the Cranok.
No.
You read the books, Greg. You should know about them. They're in the fucking
I
fifth
read
one.
most of
right?
the books.
Did you read the fifth one?
I haven't read the last one yet. I'm
Okay.
working on it.
Never mind.
Well, they have this big scene where, like, Bran is, like, kind of running away into the north, trying to get to the Three-Eyed Raven, and they probably have, like, the most pulpy fucking high fantasy scene in the entire show, where they basically have the children of the forest, like, throw, like, little magical fire bombs at skeletons and blow them up.
By the way, spoiler alert. I didn't read that part.
Oh my God! Little fucking children throwing it. you know what? If you didn't watch it, it's your fault at this point. So the point is that, like, you know, that is probably the most corny thing that happened in Game of Thrones. It didn't quite throw the series off the rails, and weirdly enough, like, you know, people have been so indoctrinated with, like, you know, magic blood vagina dark monster babies and other weird stuff that they just kind of went with it. But it's an example of, like, it's sort of like, yeah, you know, you think this is HBO, we made it adult by sex and violence, but you know what? No, this is what you're actually watching. It's really a fantasy thing. It's a fantasy thing. It's a fantasy thing with elves that shoot laser beams at fucking skeletons. That's what you're here for. That's what you signed up for, but we tricked you. We tricked you with boobs.
Oh my god.
I'll send you a link to the scene in YouTube or something. I'm sure someone has it. But, you know, it's like one thing that, like, you know, kind of goes against the grain of what you expect Game of Thrones to be. So, you know, I'm kind of curious, like, you know, on one hand, is it going to go against the grain of, you know, Promised Neverland, where it's, like, more magical and she's a wood elf sprite, or is she just going to be like a John Connor survivor, you know, hiding in some underground away from the demons?
Yeah, I'm really hoping for a John Connor survivor situation. Or, I mean, and this would be almost as bad as if she was like a magical wood elf. I would be pretty stoked to see if this was like some sort of evil terror monster that basically works like a goddamn anglerfish. And so you would get this like ridiculous Looney Tunes sequence of events where it's like she leads them back and then it turns out, oh no, it was like connected by a tentacle to a giant monster that eats babies.
Well, Scott, if that gets you like a child killed, would that make you happy?
I don't know. I mean, it would make me happy to see a child mauled to death, but on the other hand, I don't feel like it was really earned.
Guys, what if this leafy child was actually from a rival farm, and she was leading them to the other farm, like a rival farm, so the other demons could capture those kids.
Yeah, but what for? I mean, that would be like, I don't know, like if they decided to start like eating elementary school students in Maryland, and people in Maryland escaped, and then it's like, quick, come to Virginia. Like, and then like an elementary school student is like, quick, come to Virginia. I'm 9 years old. I can help you. And then you get down to Virginia, and it's like, ha! We're going. We're like back to my school where people are also being eaten.
I mean, I'm just like thinking about like the geography of like all these like child farms, these farms for children. Like, I'm thinking like there's probably a lot of them like in close proximity to each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that wheel, remember?
Yeah, there was a wheel, but I feel like wouldn't there be like multiple wheels? Because like just like one section, I feel like doesn't like produce enough like children on a consistent basis to feed
I don't know.
the
I mean,
demons.
we don't know how large the outside world is, or what the hell is going on. And it might be a very small population of demons, or maybe there are like other farm or plantation things, or whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's like multiple plantations somewhere, because it just feels like it doesn't it's not going to supply quite a good amount of food.
So are you thinking like corporate espionage?
Exactly. There's got to be some corporate espionage going on in this kind of universe.
Like, haha! I don't know, the Pepsi farm is totally fucked. Quick! Get a bunch of people
Head to
from
the
Coke
Coca-Cola
farm dressed
farm,
in
quick.
weird leaves so we can get over there and steal a bunch of their premium stuff.
I wouldn't mind that, honestly. Like, I would love it if that like scene where they have like in chapter 11 where they have like all the fucking like demons sitting around like a table is actually just like a boardroom meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I still really want to know more about the demons. I feel like that is fairly consistent, especially now that we know that they're like extra polite and yeah, like I told Lobsters like I really want to see a tiny spin-off where it's a bunch of like giant demon monsters negotiating the like political intrigues of this court or boardroom or whatever the hell they're talking about, and like periodically they'll just like eat a child and just go back to like the backbiting Game of Thrones intrigue. And eventually we learn to sympathize with them and just stop worrying about the child eating. Like, oh man, that Zoraflap is really getting it. I hope he becomes the council leader. Yeah, I know, but I mean, did you see the way he like takes care of his children? He's got to be like the best person in this series.
I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't mind like seeing the day-to-day life of the demons. Although you know what that kind of reminds me of? Have you guys ever heard of the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children?
I've heard of it before.
Isn't that going to be a movie?
Well, it is a movie, and I wouldn't recommend seeing it. It's not a great movie, but it was on like TV. Like it's been on TV for a bunch recently, and it's completely forgettable. It's basically Tim Burton making his own version of X-Men. But there is this one scene I really kind of liked where they show like the origin of like the fantastical monsters who want to eat the X-Men children, and they show them like how the monsters made themselves, and then the monsters are invisible, but they have to eat like eyes of X-Men children to regain their human form. So there's this one scene that I kind of loved where they basically have like the invisible monsters, and there's this like huge pile of eyes, and then the monsters are just like plucking the eyes and eating them, plucking the eyes and eating them, plucking the eyes and eating them, and then it like transitions to the monsters in their human form, and they're like sitting around a fancy table, and they're just like bon appetit, and they're just like eating the little X-Men eyes, and they're just looking like, oh, this is the best thing in the world. Oh my god, this is great. We're having a great time. This is like gourmet caviar. We could not be happier. And I was like, oh wow, this is a great scene, and I was kind of thinking like, man, I would love to see that in Promised Neverland.
I'd have to see it to really understand what you just said about it, but I mean, it sounds kind of cool.
Oh god, I just have like this terrible image. It's like you think they have like the like child equivalent of like foie gras? I'm probably saying that wrong, but
foie gras.
Yeah. It's like this. What is it? It's basically like goose liver pate. And the way they get it is they basically like force feed geese, and it's like horrible. It's like worse than veal.
Oh.
Because they just like force a feeding tube down this goose's throat and just feed it until it dies.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. But I'm just sitting there like, man, I wonder if they have like that for children where they're just like, like rather than like this idyllic setting, it's just like they have this child stuck in like a 5x5 room, and every day someone like beats them and then forces them to read SAT handbooks.
Or maybe there's like there's a child and they just like force feed him like high fat things just so they can get him to be extra. But then again, you're right. SAT makes more sense.
Brain that's important. So it's just like I just kind of imagine like every once in a while there's someone just like kicks the child until they start reading again.
It also makes me think like, do they like have other food that they produce as well? Maybe there's like adult versions of the food that they'll still eat, but it's like way lower quality.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's a world that we definitely want to know more about, in like, just like a little cookbook of how they prepare the children, or what the factory looks like.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. Like, what's going to happen to like caretakers now that they've completely like screwed up? Do they get eaten? Do they just get murdered?
Like,
they get sent.
I'm wondering if like the children are like the only source of food, or there's maybe other sources of food as well. This is just like maybe the children are like caviar to the demons in a sense.
So what, like they have like a puppy mill running, and like they like teach the puppies tricks, and then like once they finally learn everything, and they're like professional like stunt dogs or something on that level where they've been highly trained. They just like lead them in, and then just a bunch of demons eat them or something.
Yeah.
But that seems like a really labor-intensive process. You're right, there has to be like something else they eat. Unless, of course, this is just like what Isaac has suggested, where it's really more of an uplifting process rather than like a nutritional process.
Oh, it's like it just makes him more sentient.
Yeah.
That's what it really feels like, that there's this class system, because like even like the two demons we saw, like the working class demons in the pilot chapter, they're kind of like big and bulky, and they're like now I imagine them with like Cockney accents, which is like, oh, I just want to eat a bit of the finger. No, you can't touch that. It's for the rich.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I'm really curious.
Now I want a demon in a top hat.
I want to learn more about these other food farms, if there are other food farms.
And, that's one exciting thing about this child. This child hopefully knows a lot more about the fucking world than anyone else, and could possibly give us an insight into the answers that we so desperately crave. Or they could like pull off a scene from like Attack on Titan, like I warned you about, with like Rainer and Bertholdt, where they just like the child doesn't tell them anything.
And nothing happens? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, oh, here's the answers. They can give you more context. Oh, nothing for you! Nothing!
What if this child is actually William Minerva, and William Minerva was her pen name?
Fuck you! Fuck you!
I mean, I would be happier with this character design, but I'd still be pissed.
Well, you could do something where it's like maybe the child of William Minerva. William Minerva passed away a long time ago or something, and this is like William Minerva the Third or something. I could accept that kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But I feel like William Minerva's been hyped up as like such a big end goal and like source of hope and light in this universe that like
he's got to be an adult, right?
He's got to be an adult. We don't really have any good adult characters yet. So we need a good adult. Every shonen series needs a good adult mentor figure. And he's like a wonderful exposition dump and can like explain a way of how things can change, what these kids can do to help the world change.
It's like,
yeah, I'd take that.
You just have to recycle, and then we can make the world green again. And
all right, now I have a really interesting question for you. Every good shonen series eventually has a time skip. Do you think we're going to get a time skip, or do you think we're just going to shy away from that?
I
was guessing at it, actually, too.
It's way too early for a time skip.
Oh, yeah.
Way too early.
Down the road.
I definitely think we, because of, like, the whole Promised Neverland and the fact that, like, the whole thing is, like, the really sort of poignant thing is about, these kids having their child, never being allowed to grow into adults. That's the sort of Promised Neverland that they're denied. I feel like it would be a huge emotional, cathartic payoff to see them as, like, 14 or 15 years old, where they get that adulthood that, everyone of their generation has been denied. And, if they knock it out of the park, it'll be a real big 10 out of 10 emotional, crying, tearing moment.
Yeah, all right, I can see that.
It almost reminds me, there's this like famous Japanese book that was adapted into this movie that people liked. I forget the name of it, but the premise was basically like there are these people who are also kind of like, kids who are kept on like an orphanage kind of thing. And it turns out that they're basically like clones of people in the real world. And they're like eventually like killed and their organs are harvested for the people, their real world counterparts.
This sounds confusing.
That was an anime too?
No, it never got an anime. It's like a real book and a live action movie.
Oh God, okay. Well, was it The Island or something?
It's like a much more tasteful version of The Island. It is very similar. So basically, what happens is like if like the two of the people fall in love and they can prove that they're in love, then they get exempted from the killing organ harvesting process.
I always hated that fucking premise. Not the in love part, the fucking like, oh, you're being harvested for organs. Like, look, if you have the cloning process perfected to the point where you can make people, why don't you just have like a vat of like livers, or hearts?
Because the fucking makes drama, Scott. It makes drama.
Yeah, but it's fucking stupid. That's like the premise of like, oh no, there's like this killer outside and he's going to hurt us. But only if we send one person out, and then you look outside and you realize, like, that guy has a Nerf bat. This is stupid. I'm just gonna walk outside and then get in my car as he tries to pelt me with the fucking Nerf bat. then they're gonna leave, and then they're gonna go to the police station, and they're gonna bring the cops back, and they're gonna tase the shit out of him, and the problem is solved, and no one cares because there are no stakes.
Yeah, it's a decent enough argument for that. But like, I guess the point I bring up in bringing up that story is the idea that whatchamacallit, this is like this sad, tragic thing where these, people are in love and are having their adulthoods and future lives denied because they were made by some cruel purpose that they'll never understand. And, it's kind of like, very sort of Promised Neverland. It ties into it. So we're definitely going to get a time skip. I can't see them not doing it. It's just a question of when. Like, I don't think, like, the earliest would be, like, the 150 chapter mark.
Yeah,
And
I can see it.
do you think that would be before or after they would save Phil and the rest of the kids?
It would make the most sense to have, like, a time skip and then show how Phil's doing. And then, like, see an older Phil. And then, like, bad shit's going down. Demon giraffes are patrolling it because they're not fucking around anymore. But then Emma comes back, and adult Emma. And it's like, yay, Emma! Woo!
Yeah, and she has a katana and like crazy new hair and a badass outfit.
We talked about that before.
And then this series burns to the ground.
I'm
and
sure
they
there's
use their hockey and they use their hockey and their nen to combat the
just, oh my god, I almost want to pay the cat to like draw that as like stupid fan fiction of like, the time skip, and then Emma comes and she's like the most anime like boob ninja outfit of all, and she like puts her hand forward and then just like shoots a massive energy beam and like slices the demon giraffes dead and blows them apart.
I have been training with William Minerva. I have unleashed my hockey bankai.
Oh my god! I might just have to like blow $100 just to make that fucking happen. I'm training with William Minerva. Or she comes in, she has the pen, she transforms, twists the pen, and it's actually armor, and it armors her up, and she just like starts punching the shit out of the demon giraffes.
Oh
Oh
my
god, she's in like a Sailor Scout outfit.
Some sort of like techno exosuit scalar scout
I
outfit.
will punish you.
That almost sounds like I don't even know if I want to bring it up, but like the Fullbringers from Bleach. Like, we're taking this item when we're transforming it into super high tech or super magical armor.
I actually thought that power system wasn't like super terrible for like a new shonen thing. It just wasn't,
the story attached to it was like bad.
Yeah, it was complete garbage. Everything was garbage, but like the actual power and the logic behind it, I kind of liked.
I'm so happy I never got into Bleach. That just sounds like it turned into a massive train wreck.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
kind of did.
The
The Soul Society arc, though, that was pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
Someday, Scott, I gotta force you to watch the Super Eye Patch Wolf. I've tried to many times about Bleach and the rise and fall. He does a great job of like giving historical context about how it came and went. But fuck, now I'm just like obsessed of like getting that image drawn of like the Promised Neverland of like, Emma, in like the worst thing. Although here's what I do think: when it eventually gets this anime, I think Emma's going to become like this feminist anime icon.
I kind of hope so, but God, it's still shonen, so Rei is obviously still always going to be the premium. So
aren't they both kind of like on the same level? I think that the series has made a good case to like show Emma's like smart enough.
Yeah.
but isn't like Rei supposed to be like, or Emma's like high quality and Rei is the premium?
No, I think they're both.
No, it's because they recognized that the kid had black hair, so he was like, "Is that the high quality black haired one, or is that the premium one?" So they're not even, comparing Rei to Emma at that point.
Although Emma and Ray both have like 300 scores, so and if we're gonna go, that's like the only thing we have is a power level in fucking the Promised Neverland. And Emma is like the definitive main character. Ray and Norman were technically supporting ones.
Yeah. So all right. Hopefully that'll work out, and hopefully she'll like continue to be kicking ass. That would be good.
Yeah.
Die of Katniss.
Yeah. What Katniss should have been, as opposed to like, God, if I had money, what I would love to do is like a parody video of like, in the last few Hunger Game books / movies, how Katniss always gets knocked out, then she wakes up and has people tell her what happened, and then she gets knocked out shortly again, and then more people keep on telling her about what happened.
Yeah. Wow, I did not even think about
her to,
that
like,
while I was reading those books.
Do you want her to have like the equivalent of like cumulative traumatic brain injury, like football players?
No, I just wanted to like get like more and more ridiculous of like, she's like running into battle, then she gets knocked down. Oh, the thing's overthrown, and then she gets knocked out again while in the thing, while in the whatchamacallit, the hospital, and then she says, we may have defeated District 13, but now the cat monsters have come.
Like she like trips and falls in her bathroom, and like she wakes up like there was a kaiju.
Yeah, exactly.
What if she just like? What if the story was just like she has like extreme case of narcolepsy and she's just like falling asleep at random points like throughout the whole story, and it's all following her perspective. Is like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen next. I gotta influence the story somehow. And then the screen blanks out, and then next panel would be like, we did it! Thank you, Katniss, for saving us!
That's kind of what happened in, like, the last fucking thing. Oh, she gets knocked out from trying to doing a military action. Oh, she gets knocked out in the Capitol raid. Oh, she gets knocked out after killing President Coin. She just doesn't do anything. But thankfully, Emma has not been knocked out. So, all right, we've discussed this.
Actually, this chapter, she fell down unconsciously.
True, but
yeah, maybe that's how she awakens her Bankai.
She's gonna.
Ray is going to die, and then suddenly she like goes fucking Super Saiyan.
She's gonna fight her reverse dream self, just like Ichigo.
Oh God, I hate the reverse dream self. The reverse dream self is the fucking worst.
And she's gonna fight like next to these upside down buildings with her gigantic sword, spirit sword. Oh God, actually, I can sort of see that. This is the ruins of what Earth was. This is where the cities where man used to dwell.
God.
Okay. And Willie Minerva is her spirit.
Yeah, is her Zanpakuto. You didn't find William Minerva is not something you find out in the real world. It's something you find within you.
Oh God! All right.
All right. So I think we've discussed this well enough. Let's give our final scores for this chapter. I'd say I was pleased. I'd say it's a 9. For me personally.
I gave it an 8 because I want to see how this goes, and I'm excited. But I wouldn't say it was like my most favorite chapter.
No, it definitely doesn't reach the like emotional high point of like Ray committing suicide or them escaping. I think those are like the definitive points. Mm-hmm. Ray's Buddhist immolation.
All right. It's hard for me because if this goes well and the leaf-wrapped girl is actually important and interesting, I could bump this up to like an 8 or 9. But oh God, if it's all downhill from here, it's like my rating just tanks. So I'm gonna give it like a provisional 8.
Okay. Plus or minus depending on how the next chapter goes.
Pretty much. Like if this turns out really well, yeah, okay, cool. You had a nice setup. The posh demon was pretty cool, so I'd bump it up to like an 8.5 or 9. But if it's just like And then she learns the Kamehameha wave after she wakes up from her infection. Like, okay, well, now you get a 1. Die in a fight.
Someone has to make a William Minerva Zanpakuto kind of fan fiction. I would love that.
Well, the question is like, well, here's 2 competing theories of what could happen. Well, number 1, Ray gets captured by the demon dogs and is like brought home. Or 2, the Leaf Girl, before rescuing Emma and the other kids, like uses some magical superpower to defeat the demon, and they're like, "Oh no, you're a part of the blah 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 blah. We must retreat, but we will find our merchandise and eat you."
So you think the little girl could be working with the demons as well?
No, I think she could have like some sort of stupid supernatural power and like be fighting against the demons, and she does something cool against the demon dogs. So that way we're introduced to a new power system, and it's like, oh my god, we got to learn about this power system and how it works.
And then, like, half my interest in this series just dies.
Well, How about this, Scott? What if originally you were thinking, like, if they had psychic powers, you wouldn't hate it? If she uses, like, psychic shit?
I'd be a little disappointed, but I guess I'd keep reading it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if it's psychic shit.
But only save all one of the children first.
Yeah, there has to be, like, some consequences for them being chased by these, like, monstrous demons right now, I feel like. There has to be, like, bigger consequences.
Just one, baby. Just one. That's all I'm asking, guys. Come on. Not hard.
Dead so fucking badly. You already had Norman walk to his death like a G, as far as we know. Wasn't that good enough for you?
No, it was not. I want, like, at least one child death every 10 chapters until they get to safety.
One child. Just like fucking Oregon's Trail.
Yeah, it's like it's like walking around with like a poison.
This
Pokemon.
child has dysentery
every once in a while of dehydration or starvation or scurvy. I don't care. I would totally take scurvy at this point. Fucking teeth falling out of their head.
We'll have to wait and see next week.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so we've got our review scores. Thank you for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe. We got some fun shit planned for what we're going to do later on in these things, which you'll find out soon once I unveil my problem with pudding video. But thank you again. Love the fact that people is actually watching this rambling.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, folks.
All right. See you guys later.
You gotta love to be got it back, yeah. Love turns into time, don't you grab it.